What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. I am back on schedule. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 13 matchup with the Baltimore Ravens. It's Ravens Week, divisional showdown, at home, national game, 425 game. Pittsburgh plays Baltimore, the number one seed in the AFC. Pittsburgh essentially was playing this game for their lives. The announcers made a point to say this game was for the Steelers season, and I would agree. I said last week in my What is Wrong with the Steelers video, which you can check out on my channel. It's the last video that I posted. I talked about how the Steelers' record wasn't really necessarily a problem. I wasn't that concerned with 5-5-1 because the entire AFC, including the number one seed, had at least 3 losses. Baltimore being the best record in the AFC came in this game at 8-3, I believe. Came into this game 8-3. So already we're only 2 games back in the loss column with 2 head-to-head games remaining. The problem was Pittsburgh would have to go on this stretch and start to win their divisional games going forward because we're getting later in the season and Pittsburgh has some big head-to-heads against the AFC North coming up, and they had not been playing well. So the record wasn't concerning me. The season wasn't over. As long as the Steelers would start to play better in this game, they did. It took a while to get there. The first half started off like a typical Steelers-Ravens game, 10-3 half. Baltimore was up by 7. Started off very physical, very kind of slow-paced. Neither team could really get much going. Baltimore held the ball for, I think it was 3-1, 28 minutes to 6 minutes in the first half, or something like that. So something around that nature where Baltimore had like a 3-1 advantage in time of possession over the Steelers, and that's not what you want to see for a running team. So Baltimore wasn't getting a lot of big plays, but they were getting a lot of decent plays out of Deontay Freeman, who's their number one running back, out of Lamar Jackson on his feet. So they weren't getting massive chunks and they weren't getting downfield passes, but they were getting some nice plays out of the short passing game and out of the running game especially, which Baltimore specializes in. Baltimore is up 10-3. Pittsburgh comes down, gets their first good drive of the first half going. Ben throws a perfect 51-yard pass to Deontay Johnson in the end zone, who drops the ball. And it kills me. It kills me for a myriad of reasons. I talked about how Deontay led the league in drops last year, came in very focused on catching the ball this year, only dropped 1 pass the entire season, made multiple games of multiple catches on the sidelines in the back of the end zone. He's been holding on to everything. His radius got better. His hands have been amazing. He had not been dropping anything, and then he runs a great route, speeds past 2 Baltimore defenders. Ben throws a 50-plus yard dart to the end zone. Perfect throw, perfect route. Hits Deontay right in the hands, and he drops it. What could have been a game-tying touchdown, but big drop in the first half. Then we come out in the second half after getting a field goal, cutting it to 10-3. We come out in the second half and get a nice drive starting to go again. The momentum is on our side. We're starting to find some rhythm. And then there's a catch by Ray McLeod down the sideline. Ben just threw it up. McLeod went and got it. Nice one-handed catch. It was called a catch on the field, and then it was reversed. The nose of the ball was facing down. It was sticking out, but Ray had 2 hands underneath it. But when the ball bounced off the ground, even though it was under Ray's hands, it moved, so the ref said it was not a catch. But Ray had his hands underneath it, even though the nose of the ball was sticking out. When he turned over, he still had both hands on the ball and never lost possession of the ball. So in my opinion, as it was called on the field, that's a catch. But it was a big reversal. They reversed the call, and so Pittsburgh got nothing out of that drive and had to punt. So all of a sudden, you're looking at a touchdown drive that's turned into a field goal at the end of the half, and then a possible big giant play down the field taken back, and you're like, well, I guess we're in trouble now. Later in that drive, we had a drop ball that Baltimore tried to return, was running back, and then I forget who it was. Maybe it was T.J. Watt or something. I forget who it was. Somebody. It was Green. It was our center, Green. Kendrick Green tried to tackle the guy on the return play and got a flag. So momentum just kind of leaves us, and we leave a lot of points on the board after a couple good drives, and it doesn't look very good. But crazy to think that Pittsburgh only allows 10 points through 3 quarters of the game. I mean, that's the thing. We were looking really good as far as defensively. I give this defense a lot of credit. They had not been getting turnovers or pressure. In this game, they got a lot of both. Let's see the sack numbers. 6. I think we had 7 sacks in this game. 7 sacks plus an interception and a forced fumble, which went out of bounds. So we got a turnover, and we got a lot of splash plays, a lot of pressure this time, a couple of batted balls, a lot of sacks, several guys on defense stepping up. Our biggest struggle was still covering the slot guys and still tackling the running backs. They were using the middle of the field for short dump offs and short slants. Baltimore found the most success running the ball. Lamar Jackson 50 plus yards on the ground, Freeman 50 plus yards on the ground plus a touchdown. But the middle of the field is what was open a lot on the runs and especially on the short passes. They used Watkins a little, Hollywood Brown a little bit, and the running backs a lot to do dump offs. And our middle linebackers, Schobert and Bush especially, could not stay with those guys. And we had a couple other guys like Mollett and Norwood in the slot who were missing tackles and bouncing off guys. So struggle tackling for the nickel and dime corners and struggle covering for the inside linebackers, which has been our problem all season long. But Pittsburgh kept it close. The offense really started clicking in the fourth quarter. Najee Harris started getting more involved with a lot of good runs. It would remind me a lot of Jerome Bettis in this game where he started very slow and there were no holes open for him. And then by the fourth quarter, he's pounding and pounding and pounding away, running through tackles, finishing runs strong, and just escalating his stats. I think he only had 36 yards through the first 3 quarters of the game, nothing going. And then by the end of the game, I think he had a little over 70. So he doubled his output in the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh in general in the fourth quarter wound up with more total yards in the first half of the fourth quarter than we had through all 3 of the first 3 quarters combined. So Pittsburgh found their groove. They found some short slants and comebacks to Deontay Johnson. They found Freiermuth on some nice plays. Najee Harris got moving. They used Derek Watt a little bit in the fullback game, which I love. They started to really find a groove, and Big Ben, who's been the subject of a lot of possible struggles and possible retirements at the end of the year, really stepped up, and Pittsburgh's offense showed they can still be something special. And the defense, like I said, made plays on the other end. We saw a semblance of heart, we saw a comeback, and we saw a team who just barely survived this game. Pittsburgh goes on to win 20-19 by the skin of their steel curtain teeth. They just slid by this, and even when it should have been over a little bit earlier in the fourth, they made it a game like they always do. Pittsburgh let Baltimore hang around on that last drive, and my heart could not take it. My heart was thumping so bad, I was in tears by the end of the 2-point conversion. Let's get to the stats. Big Ben, really good game today overall. Didn't make any turnovers, no really big errant throws. 21-31, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Also, like I said, had the 51-yard touchdown pass to Deontay that was dropped by Deontay as well. So should have had almost 280 and 3 touchdowns, but there was a big drop on Deontay's part. So Ben playing pretty mistake-free football, does a nice job finding Claypool a couple times downfield, does a lot of nice back shoulder stuff to Deontay. Deontay ran a lot of good routes today, making up for that one drop. Big Ben looked pretty sharp. Made plays when he had to, found his tight ends. Both tight ends, Gentry and Freiermuth, made a few catches today. Good to see that on the tight end spectrum. Najee Harris, like I said, through the first 3 quarters did nothing. Fourth quarter looked really strong. Numbers overall, he had over 100 total yards in this game, 21 carries for 70 yards, plus 5 catches for 36 yards. So 70 on the ground, 36 through the air. Deontay Johnson is our leader today, 8 catches, 106 yards, and 2 touchdowns, mostly in the second half. Plus that 1 touchdown drop. So he had the big touchdown drop in the first half, came back with a really nice cross-field move where it was a crisscross play and he got open in the middle of the field for a 30-yard touchdown. Also later on had a nice comeback play, ran some really good routes today. He got the game-winning touchdown in this too when Pittsburgh was trying to get a field goal to go up by 1 point. He made a nice in-and-out move where he got free of the linebacker, caught the ball, and dove into the end zone. So Deontay made up for his touchdown drop with 2 other nice touchdowns and several nice hands catches on comeback routes. So I would complain about the 1 touchdown, but he made it work, including the game winner. Chase Claypool, 252, just downfield stuff for him. Had 1 nice play on the back shoulder that he got open and another play on a downfield catch. That's about it for the offense, but like I said, Freiermuth had a couple nice catches. Zach Gentry had a nice 3rd down conversion, including 2 catches. Freiermuth got the 2-point conversion to extend the game to 7 points on a fade in the end zone, a nice catch by him. So Freiermuth continues to be a clutch catch guy and a go-to guy for Big Ben in clutch situations. So good to see that bond and good to see Freiermuth making important catches for us. Defensively, lots of guys I want to shout out. TJ Watt, 3.5 sacks and a forced fumble. Coming back last week, he had no pressures at all. When I said he came back too soon, he was probably still sick and injured. Didn't seem like he was healthy. Was on the COVID list this week and didn't seem like he was going to play until like yesterday. So he came in. I still wasn't sure if he was going to be healthy and not injured. Came back with 3.5 sacks and a forced fumble in this game. He was an absolute terror. He was everywhere, all over the field today. Chris Wormley, major star today. Biggest game as a Pittsburgh Steeler, by far his best game as a Steeler, and probably even when he was a Raven as well. Probably his best game of his NFL career. He had 2.5 sacks today, plus 2 other tackles for a loss on running backs. And even on the plays that he wasn't getting sacks, he was getting pressures. He was diverting Lamar Jackson's running lanes. He had 2.5 sacks, one of which he split with Watt and 2 he got on his own. But 2 other times I saw him step in the pocket and cause Lamar Jackson to have to go move backwards into a different lane where he got sacked by somebody else. So Wormley had 2.5 sacks and was involved in probably 1 or 2 other ones. Plus, like I said, he had a couple tackles for a loss on the running back. He was reading well, he was getting good pressure, and he was back in the backfield in key moments. I love what Chris Wormley did today. First time an offensive line guy besides Cam Hayward, he stepped up all year long. Really nice to see that. Cam Hayward, speaking of which, he got a sack today as well. He's quite simply the best defensive lineman in the league for me this year. He's playing out of his mind, and he had some help today, so it was very nice. Minkah Fitzpatrick also got a nice interception in the end zone. Baltimore was going for a touchdown on 3rd down. Lamar Jackson threw an errant pass, and he got a pick. He also got another pick that was called back because it was a false start on the offense. The play went through a little too long, and the refs blew the whistle. Would have been a second pick, but nice end zone pick, taking points off the board for Fitzpatrick. It's the 2nd week in a row with a nice pick. So we're seeing TJ Watt come back to form. We're seeing Minkah Fitzpatrick come back to form, and that's really important right now. Trey Norwood, I like what he did today. He had a hard time tackling, like I said, in the slot. He wasn't tackling very well. He missed a couple tackles, as we've been doing all season, but he had a couple nice coverage plays. He recovered the onside kick to win the game, and he had a couple nice. He had a 3rd or 4th down tackle on Mark Andrews. That Andrews did fall forward and get the 1st down, but he was in the right spot and took the right angle. So I'm seeing some good instincts out of Norwood. For a small guy, he's getting more physical. He's reading pretty well, and he's around the ball on the 3rd downs when he's in the game. So I like seeing that. Mallette didn't play the best today. Akila Witherspoon made a nice tackle or 2. He started today for Joe Hayden, and we didn't see him get abused or anything in particular. He didn't seem like he was playing very, very bad today. Like I said, most of the guys, Mallette had a rough day. Norwood had some tackling issues, and like I said, Cam Sutton was kind of quiet, but I think Witherspoon made a few nice plays. Also, the guy we signed off the Saints, Matravius, I forget his last name. He was a Saints practice squad guy. He played a little bit and got a batted ball and got a tackle as well in this game. So he did a couple nice things. So the defense had a couple nice guys stepping up. Still need to improve their middle of the field coverage. Baltimore came down after Pittsburgh got a touchdown 2-point conversion to go ahead by 1 point, or by 7 points. They still allowed Baltimore to come down the field on a 3rd and 15, convert in the middle of the field, and then get another midfield play. I think one was to Hollywood Brown and one was to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews was making a few nice catches on us. And we allowed Baltimore to come down middle of the field to Sammy Watkins and get the game-tying touchdown almost. Baltimore, instead of going for the game-tying extra point, tries to get the win. It goes for the gutsy call. Kudos to Baltimore for trying that. Threw the out route, the little staggered out to Mark Andrews, and Devin Bush was out of position. He played terribly today, in my opinion. Andrews had the ball on his fingertips. It was a little bit too far. 1 more inch, he would have caught it, and they would have won the game. Devin Bush made a few poor reads on the running game today and was nowhere near covering well in the passing game. So he's one that has not gotten back to form, and I don't like what I'm seeing there. Chris Boswell got 2 for 2 on field goals today, but did miss an extra point that I thought was going to come into play at the end of the game, and it almost did. Baltimore almost got the win because of it. So Boswell missed an extra point where he just shanked it. Also, Presley Harvin, king of inconsistency once again. He had the perfect punt. He had one of the best punts I ever saw. It was like a 63-yard punt where the ball bounced inside the 1 and curved right outside the cone. So he punted the ball from like our 35 or 40-yard line all the way inside the 1 of Baltimore. I've never seen such a perfect punt inside the 1 before. But then he goes on to shank 2 or 3 of them for 25 to 30-yard punts. So there's times where he's absolutely brilliant and times where he's terrible. But in the end, Pittsburgh by a point holds off the 2-point conversion. The offense comes down and scores when they need to. We're seeing Deontay Johnson becoming elite. We're seeing Najee Harris wearing defenses down. We're seeing Freiermuth make clutch catches. Claypool down the field has been a nice option when he's out there. We're seeing Pittsburgh come together, and as long as we do mistake-free football and we don't get as many penalties as usual, Pittsburgh can be something. All of a sudden now we're 6-5-1. We're only 1 game back in the loss column and 2 back in the win column from Baltimore. So we are effectively only a game and a half out of the division lead. We now have the tiebreaker over Baltimore. Cincinnati lost today, so we gained a game on them as well. We have a tiebreaker now over Baltimore. We're playing Baltimore again head-to-head in Baltimore. That could be for the division. You know, Pittsburgh, all of a sudden, our division's got a hard schedule going ahead, and all of a sudden now with this win, Pittsburgh is right in the thick of that playoff hunt. We're about pretty much a game to a half game back because of the tie is all we are right now. So Pittsburgh is right in that wild card hunt, and we are very much in the divisional race. If we win that second game against Baltimore, it could be for the division. So keep your eyes on Pittsburgh, because all of a sudden, the number 1 seed in the AFC's got 4 losses. We've only got 5. So it is time to look out for Pittsburgh. As long as we keep playing mistake-free football on offense and getting those splash plays and those sacks on defense, putting offenses in a longer second and third down situation. So nice splash plays on defense, nice conversions on offense. Najee Harris getting going. This is stuff you like to see. What do you guys think of this game? Big win for the Steelers. Tell me in the comments below who stood out to you. And if you now suddenly have hope that Pittsburgh can overcome all their problems, get back into form, and get back into the playoffs for one final run from Big Ben Roethlisberger. Like, share, and subscribe if you like these videos, and come back next week for another Steeler review. Thank you guys. Go Steelers. Take care.